Space is not just a void, it is a canvas of silence that stretches beyond our comprehension. While we often think of it as a place filled with stars and galaxies, the true defining characteristic of the universe is the vast, empty distance between them. This emptiness is so profound that if you were to stand in the middle of a typical cosmic void, you would see no stars, no planets, and no light in any direction for millions of light years. It is a level of isolation that the human mind is simply not built to process, where the concept of a neighbor or a destination loses all meaning in the face of infinite blackness. Consider the scale of the Boötes void, a region of space nearly 330 million light-years in diameter that contains far fewer galaxies than it should. If the Milky Way had been in the center of the Boötes void, we would not have known there were other galaxies until the 1960s. We would have grown up believing we were truly alone in an endless dark. This structural emptiness is a remnant of the early universe, where tiny fluctuations in density led to the cosmic web we see today, leaving behind massive pockets of nothingness that challenge our understanding of how matter clusters together. Even within our own solar system, the gaps are staggering. If the Earth were the size of a cherry, the Sun would be a giant sphere standing 2 blocks away, and Neptune would be a tiny speck over 5 miles distant. The space between these bodies is filled with solar winds and magnetic fields, yet it remains a vacuum more perfect than any we can create on Earth. We often see diagrams of the planets huddled together for clarity, but the reality is a lonely dance through a freezing, airless corridor where a single mechanical failure means drifting forever in the dark. The silence of space is perhaps its most haunting quality. Sound requires a medium to travel through, like air or water, but in the near-perfect vacuum of the cosmos, there is nothing to carry the vibrations of a supernova or the collision of two worlds. The most violent events in the history of existence happen in absolute, terrifying silence. This lack of sound creates a sensory deprivation that astronauts describe as both peaceful and deeply unsettling, highlighting how much we rely on the constant noise of our home planet to feel grounded in reality. Temperature in the void is another extreme that defies our earthly intuition. In the shadows of deep space, temperatures drop to just a few degrees above absolute zero, where molecular motion nearly stops entirely. Yet, if you are exposed to direct sunlight without the protection of an atmosphere, the heat can rise to hundreds of degrees. There is no air to circulate the warmth, creating a landscape of thermal extremes where one side of an object can be freezing while the other is boiling. Survival in this environment requires an incredible feat of engineering just to maintain a stable balance. We often look up at the night sky and see a static map of lights, but we are actually looking at a graveyard of time. Because light takes time to travel, we see the moon as it was a second ago, and the nearest stars as they were years in the past. When we peer into deep space with our most powerful telescopes, we are looking at galaxies that may have vanished eons ago. We are celestial historians, observing a universe that has already changed significantly by the time its image reaches our eyes, making the void not just a distance in space, but a distance in time. Black holes represent the ultimate expression of the void's power, where the fabric of space-time itself is warped into a bottomless pit. There are regions where the density is so high and the gravity so strong that even light cannot escape their grasp. Around these monsters, time slows down, and the laws of physics as we know them begin to break. They act as the anchors of galaxies, yet they are also the great destroyers, consuming everything that crosses the event horizon and leaving nothing but a shadow against the glowing gas of the surrounding space. Despite its hostility and its terrifying scale, the void is our origin. Every atom in our bodies was forged in the hearts of dying stars and scattered across the emptiness by cataclysmic explosions. We are the universe's way of looking back at itself, a small collection of matter that gained consciousness to wonder about the dark. As we continue to reach out into the blackness with our probes and telescopes, we are seeking to understand the silence that birthed us, knowing that the vast emptiness between the stars is not a barrier, but the very territory of our future. Skipped, markdown/formatting, add when requested by non-automated system.